Hello and welcome to this Advective weather update. We have a dangerous situation today with a 4 out of 5 moderate risk in place across south-central Kansas and far northwestern Oklahoma. This is exclusively driven by the threat of destructive thunderstorm winds. Supercells are expected to develop imminently with the potential to produce giant hail and a couple of tornadoes across the Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas panhandle area. These storms will then move eastwards while developing into a bow echo, with the Storm Prediction Center noting the potential for destructive, if not life-threatening, winds of 80 to 110 miles an hour. That's equivalent to an EF1 to low-end EF2 tornado. Do not take these storms lightly. There is also an enhanced 3 out of 5 risk across portions of Nebraska and South Dakota, but that's only for giant hail. The wind threat is much lower there, and there's also a 2% tornado threat there. Look at the setup, you can see that low is moving across Oklahoma with 2 warm fronts to the east and north of it. That's driving the storms today. There's a better view at the risk today. You can see that there is a slight risk going down into the deep south. Oklahoma City out of any substantial risk today. Tulsa on the edge of the enhanced. Wichita also in the enhanced. Dodge City, however, in the moderate risk. Low tornado risk today, but can't be ruled out, and it could potentially be on the stronger side if a storm gets particularly good setup and remains isolated for long enough, but not expected to be a major tornado threat today. The main threat is, of course, those extremely potent damaging winds. Moderate risk, about as high as it gets these days for a wind risk. Dodge City, as mentioned, is in this risk. Pratt, Kansas, is also in that moderate risk. Liberal just outside, but could definitely see hurricane force wind gusts. Places in the hatched wind risk include Guymon, Woodward, Enid, Stillwater, Tulsa, Muskogee, Bartlesville, and Ponca City. Those are all in Oklahoma. Coffeyville, Hutchinson, and Garden City in Kansas, as well as the 3 I mentioned earlier. And of course, we could see hurricane force wind gusts outside of that hatch risk area. This is just where it's most likely. And of course, you will notice that extends out to the east into portions of Missouri and Arkansas, where the enhanced risk just barely makes it. And there's the hail risk, where we could see giant hail in well in excess of 2 inches, perhaps up to grapefruit size, sort of that big in the most potent storms in either of these risk areas. That's from South Dakota through into northwest Kansas, and of course the moderate risk area around Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Finally, let's have a look at the model output. You can see those storms are expected to be going very quickly across the northern enhanced risk, and an hour or two later we'll see some isolated supercells developing across the Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas panhandles area, as I mentioned. These storms will then grow upscale into a fairly narrow but intense storm system that will push all the way across the Kansas-Oklahoma border, and likely will still be producing winds maybe to hurricane force as it enters Missouri and Arkansas. And there will likely still be some wind threat from this system as we get to 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, as these storms will be moving into eastern parts of Missouri and Arkansas. Now, depending how far this goes and how much damage it produces, this could be classified as a derecho event, but we just don't know at the moment. Regardless, if you're in the enhanced or moderate risks, make sure you're aware of the warnings and seek shelter when the storms approach your location today. And hopefully you don't need to tell you this, but if the winds are 110 miles an hour, doesn't matter whether it's a tornado or straight line winds, they will do the same damage. And because the winds in straight line can be sustained for longer, you may get worse damage from a storm producing these winds than you had from a tornado. Easily strong enough to blow over mobile homes, maybe even destroy them entirely if we do get winds above 100 miles an hour, as is possible today. Regardless, even if they're only 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, that's still more than enough to topple trees, and storms blowing over trees have caused fatalities almost every year. A dangerous thing, you need to be aware of it. Seek shelter when the warnings are issued. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. We hope you stay safe wherever you are, especially in this dangerous situation that is currently developing across the central United States. Thank you very much, and goodbye.